Hey guys, Asib here, and welcome to C++ tutorial number 24. You guys are lucky. I've done 3 in a row so far. 22, 23, and now 24. All one after the other. As explained in the previous tutorial, we're going to be looking at the scope, function scopes and stuff. We've already covered functions and just about how they work. So before we cover more of functions, we're going to look at scope, which is very important in functions, and it's one of the things that makes functions how they are. I'm not going to explain what I mean by that just now. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. From the function prototypes, which remember I said it's always a good idea to. In fact, if you don't put the function prototypes, someone looking at your code will probably think less of you. Okay, so always put those function prototypes. Also, by putting the function prototypes, it means you can make your code neater because you can put those definitions down at the bottom. Okay, so by looking at the function prototypes, we know we've got two functions, one called output x and one called output y. And of course they don't return anything because the return type is void. Okay. Now here we're declaring two variables. We're declaring an x variable, an integer x variable, and assigning a value of 5, and an integer y variable, and assigning a value of 10. Okay. Now ignore this comment for the moment. Now what we're trying to do here is call output x, and if we go down and look at output x, we can see it's just outputting x, okay, and a period and a carriage return, sorry. So seems simple enough. Let's go ahead and try running this. Okay, we got build errors, and if we look at the error, one error, on line, where is it? What does it say? Line 21. Yeah, that's the line number there. Error, blah blah blah. X undeclared identifier. If we double click it, it goes to it straight away. So why is x an undeclared identifier if we declared it in here? You know, shouldn't this work? Okay, now this is where scope comes in. The reason is because each function has a different, a separate scope. Okay, so everything inside a group of curly braces is inside a scope. So basically, everything inside main is not existent inside any other place, okay? It doesn't exist inside output x function or the output y function, okay? Which is why we're getting that undeclared identifier, because when we call this function, we go out of the main function and into the output x function. And in the output x function, as far as I can see, between the curly braces, there's no declaration of x, which is why our compiler is giving an error when we try and declare x. That's where basically parameters come in, but I'm not going to talk about parameters again this tutorial. That's the next tutorial. Hopefully all of you understand that with fairly easily, because if you don't, it can be something that's quite hard to get your head around. All you need to know, really, is that in a function, because a function has its body, right? Each function has a separate body. It's kind of hard to explain, really, this. So each function has its own body, and in each body, let's think. How do I explain this? Each body contains its own variables. So basically, the variables, imagine they're kept in a pen, okay? And each function has its own pen. And each variable is inside that pen in its respective function. Okay, so and assume the variables are sheep. The sheep in the main pen, okay, are trapped inside the main pen, so they can't therefore get into the output x pen, okay, or the output y pen for that matter. So that's basically what scope is. For this reason, because in each different function. When we call the function, of course, we go out of main. We are no longer in main, and we transport ourselves into the output x function. Because x isn't existent in the output x function, we can redeclare it, and that's basically what I've done with the output y function. They're kind of bad names because they're not outputting x and outputting y, but you don't really need to worry about them. With the output y function, I'm redefining, actually I'm not redefining really, I say I'm redefining it because we've already got x and y defined in here, but I'm simply defining because remember, output y has its own separate scope. So I'm defining not new, I keep trying to do it. I'm defining y and x values. I don't know why I did it the other way around, but whatever. I'm defining y and x, and I'm outputting y. And if we do this just here, let's comment this out as well. We can. Oh right, that's still bugging it out. Okay, let's just close that. Let's call output y in here as well. Okay, give it a go, and you can see it outputs 5. And this works. It's not counted as a redefinition because output y has its own scope. If we try and write int x equals 5, int y equals 5, and then write int y equals 5 again, we will actually get, sorry for that spasm there, we'll actually generate a compiler error. If we look at this, we can see error, redefinition, multiple initialization, okay. So, of course that doesn't work, and that's because these two y's, they're in the same pen, so to speak, whereas this y, it's in a different pen, so it can exist, okay. So basically that's it. Hopefully you will understand that. If you don't, seriously leave me a message, because it's something you need to understand if you want to progress in C++. So yeah, leave me a message, send me, leave a comment, send me a message, send me a contact form. Don't enter a request form, those are for requests. So yeah, anyway guys, next tutorial we look at parameters, which nicely links into scope. So over and out.